insulin isn't working anymore. Type 2 diabetes, your insulin isn't working. Now, why doesn't it work? Okay, glucose now is in your cells. It needs to go into your, it's in your bloodstream. It needs to go into your cells. It's hanging out in your bloodstream. It's waiting for the insulin to tell the direction. Everybody this way. Funnel it this way. Now you have 10 people, and the insulin is the teacher, and go, come on, let's go. Now you're eating more sugar, and now it becomes, there's more glucose in your bloodstream than you have insulin. The insulin isn't working anymore. So the glucose is hanging out in your bloodstream. Guess what you get? Diabetes. Okay? You get diabetes, you get cardiovascular disease, and you get obesity. That's why you get fat. You're not getting fat from fat. You're getting fat from sugar. So now we're hanging out in your bloodstream, and your body is smarter than you are. Your pancreas steps in. Pancreas steps in and says, hey, you know what? That insulin isn't working anymore. We're going to help you out. We're going to make more insulin for you. You don't care. You're still shoveling down that sugar. And now your pancreas is overworked. Over years, you have a type 2 diabetes, your pancreas sets in. Your pancreas no longer is going to make you insulin anymore. And that's why you get an insulin pump. Okay? So you're not born with type 2. Some people are born with type 1 diabetes. That's a whole different ballgame. Type 2 diabetes, you do it to yourself. So if you see somebody with type 2 diabetes, you gotta go, your fault. Your fault. You're not born with it. You've overloaded your liver, either that, or you've become insulin sensitive because you just couldn't stop eating that sugar. And your pancreas steps in, and now you need a pump. So at this point, you should all be saying, I don't even want to even look at sugar. But let me tell you some more. What is the leading cause of death in this country? I'm sorry? Nope, that's what it used to be. Cancer. Cancer is the leading cause of death right now in this country because there's so many types. When you have cancer, do you know what kind of diet they put you on? The first thing the oncologist does, thank God, is they put you, sugar-free. They take every sugar out of your body. Why? Because when you have cancer, you have a lot of cells that have gone bad. And bad cells replicate even faster than normal cells. The insulin in your body slows down the replication of bad cells. If I'm eating all this sugar and now I'm insulin sensitive, that insulin can't do its job, and now it increases your cancer cells. So that doesn't stop you from eating sugar. Let me give you some insulin resistance. You're insulin sensitive. It's insulin sensitive or insulin resistant. You're resistant to insulin. So you can't, that insulin isn't working anymore. There's another way, there's a hormone in your brain that helps you or tells you, okay, I've had enough to eat. It's called ghrelin. Fats and proteins trigger off that hormone in your brain and say, enough's enough. Good carbohydrates also trigger off that hormone. You ever eat a steak? Who eats a pound of steak? Anybody eat 16 ounces? I can finish off a steak myself. I don't think I could eat 2 pounds. You know why? I get full. If you eat a plate of pasta, white pasta, an hour later, can you eat another plate of pasta? Anybody ever say that? Like, I could just eat. What about that Chinese food stuff? You can eat Chinese food, and then an hour later you're starving again? Because it does not trigger off that hormone in your brain called ghrelin. You know what it does trigger off? It triggers off that hormone in your brain called dopamine. You know what dopamine does? It's a happy hormone. It makes you happy. Same thing as Coke. in your brain called dopamine, and it makes you dopey. Sugar does the same thing. Sugar does the same thing and even worse. People that are addicted to cocaine, when you're addicted to sugar, it makes it even worse. So, when your brain says, I'm done, I'm full, you stop eating. Sugar, fructose, doesn't do that. That's why you'll just keep on eating that over and over again. When you're addicted to sugar, people say you have to eat it in moderation. Can you tell that to a person that's hooked on drugs? There's no moderation. And you know you're addicted to it because you just can't stop. And I'm not talking about the will. You literally shake when you don't have it anymore. You know there's an addiction. I had a patient that told me it took them 12 years to get off of sugar. That's somebody who started, and that's a young person. That's somebody who started sugar at a young age. So what we need to do is start with our children, our grandchildren. And you have to watch what they're eating because when they're adults, they're going to be addicted to sugar. And most addictions, most people that are addicted to one thing will start getting addicted to other things as well. Sugar is also, obesity is a big thing in this country, especially with our children. We have children that have ADHD, we have children that have anxiety, depression, and they're fat as hell. They are so fat. Even kids that are in sports nowadays, I remember growing up, we were like all kind of, we were fat. No, I was a fat kid. No, there's no doubt. I was a fat kid, but I also didn't do any sports. But we weren't fat the way they're fat now. They are fat. They are fat. They have fat around their stomachs. That's because of the sugar. Sugar goes into this area. For women, when we go through hormonal changes, you see a lot of women with the pooches. How many women reach that age and it's a pooch? It's not something you're given at 50. It's not a present. It's something that we need to fight. And the reason why you're getting those pooches 90% of the time is because of the sugar that you're taking. Now, you men aren't saved by this. Men also get fat. Men get fat for two reasons. One is, and I've done my blog on this, testosterone level. Testosterone level dips as you get older. At the age of 30 years old, it goes down 1%. That's normal. Because of the sugar that you men eat, it's raised up to 2 to 3%. So we have men now in their 40s, which is pretty young, that have a testosterone level of 150 to 200. How do I know when they come walking in? They act like women. They're whiners. When they take them in the room and they put them in a gown, the first thing I do is I look at their body. I look at their spine, but I look at their bodies. And what they do is they have breasts. Men aren't supposed to have breasts. I don't care how fat you get. Men get fat here. Now I'm not talking about the old Italian men because eventually you lose muscle tone. So you start getting saggy. You'll know fat on a man because it literally looks like it's breast. That's a different story. You should go on my blog. You could read all about testosterone levels. Your testosterone levels, just to let you know, should be between 3 and 800. Not 200. Anyway, so obesity, going back to obesity. Our children have ADHD, anxiety, depression, obesity. Why? Because of sugar. The first thing they say when a child or a teenager that is going through depression, I have a child. She's on medication. She's depressed. She's got chemical imbalance. She's the smartest child I know. She's a brainiac. She's going to be an attorney. She's a brainiac. She suffers from anxiety and depression. We're changing her diet now. She doesn't listen. But we try to change her diet. We're taking sugar. Because I tell the doctor, I think it's her diet. No, it's chemical. Let's change this. Let's give her this. They've piled on so many medications, I don't even know who she is anymore. I started changing her diet. Because if I don't change it, if I don't cook, she's not going to eat. She told me, Mom, I feel different. I feel different now. My goal for her is to get her off all medication. So you can see how obsessed I am about the sugar thing, because I have it in my family. Now, sugar, people used to think that fat raises cholesterol. Saturated fats. Remember that kick? saturated fats. Don't eat your eggs. Don't eat eggs. Well, saturated fat is okay for you. It doesn't give you high cholesterol. Fructose, now they're saying, gives you high triglycerides, gives you high LDL, those are the bad, that's the bad fats, high glucose, high insulin levels, and high abdominal obesity. All fructose. It wasn't the saturated fats. So, like I told you, even growing up as being a fat child, we were kind of fat all over the place.
I was always fat when you were 7.
Okay, but okay. Now children are getting fat. I see girls that are getting their periods at the beginning. They're starting to get their period. They're fat here. They got this fat here where women only used to get when we were changing our hormones. Now young girls are getting that, and the only reason is because of the fructose that we're eating and all the byproducts and all the ingredients in these and the garbage that we eat. Now, how do these companies get away with it? Okay, we pick up something and we see fat-free. So everybody thinks, oh, it's diet. Do you know what fat-free means? When I eat
sugar.
Exactly. It has to either have fat or sugar to taste good. So when you take the fat out, you have to put in the sugar. Low fat. Low fat means, okay, so I'm throwing in some fat and some more sugar. Or no sugar added. This must be good because it's no sugar added. But it has sugar in it. It's just not giving you more sugar. We also call sugar by another name. You know what else? It's fructose, glucose, sucrose. How about these other ones? Barley. When you see it in the ingredients, barley is sugar. Brown sugar is sugar.
That's me.
Beet sugar. Coconut sugar. Not coconut. Coconut sugar is sugar. Corn sweeteners, molasses, fruit juice concentrate, organic raw sugar. Everybody thinks that's a good thing, right? It's sugar. Confectionate sugar, syrups, honey. Now I'm going to throw another one at you. A lot of vegetarians use agave. Agave is 80% fructose. Were we not taught that thinking agave is a great thing? It's 80% fructose. Is fructose good for you?
No.
No.
It makes great
Delicious.
The ingredient, we also taught that the ingredients in a product, the first 3 ingredients, lets you know that that's what's the most in a package. Okay, so I took a protein bar. I'm not really supposed to tell you it was a Quest bar, so I'm not. I'm going to tell you the ingredients in the Quest bar. By the way, I had the Quest bar in my cabinet for 6 months. We can still eat it. So I just threw it out. So if you could have something in your cabinet for 6 months, you're not supposed to eat it. You're not supposed to eat it. Okay, so this particular protein bar, which everybody thinks is a good food to eat, it's not. Protein bars are the worst things you can eat. Worst things that were made in life. If you can make a protein bar, make it, literally make it, which we are, you have to be able to eat it. Not save it for 6 months. Okay, this protein bar had protein blend. It had soy, whey, protein, casein. Those were the 3 first ingredients. Okay, so you're thinking that's the most ingredients in this particular bar. Then it had corn syrup, fructose, flavored coating, maltodextrin, I don't know what the hell that is, chocolate, cocoa. Now, all those 6 ingredients I just told you is sugar. You add up all those sugars, it's more than the first 3 ingredients that we just told you. But we're taught that the first 3 ingredients is what is the biggest amount in that product. That's how they get away with it.
Okay. Use a little of each one and it adds up to more.
And it adds up to more. Now, there's a lot of sugar and things you don't even know about. We're going to go over certain products. And some of you are going to be shocked, because some of you probably eat it every day. They also trick you by using sugar and combining it with natural sugar. Like if they throw natural in front of it, like natural raw, whatever, you think it's good for you. Sugar is sugar no matter what you say. So if I go back to telling you that women are only allowed to have 20 grams a day and men 36, it doesn't matter where it comes from. Fruit, it doesn't matter. You're having too much sugar. So you have to pick and choose where you're going to get your sugar from. When you add, I'm going to ask you one thing. How many people eat yogurt? This is something that it's always okay. Does your yogurt say low fat? Low fat free? Okay. You know, yeah?
Non-fat.
Non-fat. Non-fat.
Zero fat.
Zero fat.
There's no sugar.
No.
It's Greek. There's nothing.
Yeah, the Greek
Okay.
yogurt.
Let's go back. What does it say? Zero fat.
Zero fat. There's no fat in it. There's no sugar in it. There's nothing in on that label that says sugar.
Does it have any calories at all?
It has.
Okay,
Got
listen
it.
to me. Listen to me. I just finished telling you. You're not listening. You writing this down? It has sugar in it. Greek yogurt has sugar. If it says low fat, fat free, it has to have sugar. Now, it may say, you know what the ingredients say, like, wait, please. See these? Forget about what that says. It's what it says here. Half of these words, you're not even going to know what it means. So when you
If I
grab
could
your...
say one thing, there's a whole list of items that they're allowed to use that are derivatives of corn syrup, which is sugar, that are not considered sugar by the FDA, so they don't have to put it as sugar. It's still
Greek yogurt,
zero
yes.
sugar, but it's loaded with sugar. But because of the labeling that they have from the FDA, they don't have to consider it to be sugar.
I know.
No.
Yeah.
It's
Sorry.
Aren't they fighting to
Okay.
They are.
Thank you. I was going to say, in the year 2020, they are supposed to... Now, I'm just... thank you for telling me that. Going back to my protein bar. That protein bar said 20... When I read the ingredients like this, it said 20 grams of protein, 2 grams of sugar. So I went ahead and looked up all those other sugars. It's actually 29 grams of sugar.
Oh, how can they get rid of that?
Because I just finished telling
We
you,
just told
you
you.
could say it in different words. Sugar, if it's plain cane sugar, that's what they're supposed to put here. Here, they're able to write it down in any other way, and they don't have to tell you add it in. But in the year 2020, guess what? Those 2 grams of whatever that you're eating, it's going to be 29 grams, and then you're going to wonder why you're unhealthy, you're sick, you have cancer, you have diabetes, you're fat. You're going to understand why.
But you can't say, it's not fair to say that you're not a cancer patient.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying.
Sugar causes us.
I never said cancer cause. I said is once you get cancer, you need to get off the sugar.
Yes.
That's what I said. That's exactly what I said. So because it multiplies those bad cells. But with that, I'm going to tell you, you have a diet high in sugar. I'm going to guarantee you're going to get something. I'm not saying you have to get cancer. You're going to get something. Okay, so now, also another little thing that people do is they read the ingredients and they go, it's 1 gram of sugar. I'm sorry, I can't. 1 gram of sugar per serving, and the serving is 2 ounces. You know what 2 ounces is? I know no one that eats 2 ounces of anything. So you're eating 6 ounces. And now that 2 grams of sugar becomes 6 grams of sugar. So that's another way they can get away with it. We're going to go over, before we go over the products,
Can you go back to the yogurt?
I'm sorry?
You never finished with the yogurt.
Yogurt. You're saying low fat, fat free. And let me tell you, this always becomes a controversial thing. Because people are like, it doesn't have sugar. It doesn't have sugar. It has sugar. Yogurt is not what you think it is. It's not the diet food that you think it is. People say, well, I eat 3 meals a day and then my snack is I'm going to have yogurt for one snack and yogurt for another. In my head, you just told me, when people come to me and they give me and they become clients and they let me know what they eat, I take out the yogurt. Unless you go ahead and have full-fledged yogurt, can't be my client and have low fat, fat free, any of that. Why? I'd rather you have, because real yogurt has less sugar than low fat and fat free. Yogurt is not the diet food that you want. So if you're coming to me and you say you want to drop some weight, I don't understand why my belly is getting built, and I'm looking at your diet and you're snacking on yogurt. That's the first thing I'm eliminating. That's the first thing I'm eliminating, especially women that have gone through menopause. See, we are taught to believe that yogurt is the holy grail. It's not. It may be good for you, but we have to figure it out. Usually it's not. Everyone is different. Some people can have it. You got to guarantee I'm not going to have you have it twice a day. It's impossible. It's too much sugar. You want to ask?
I don't have yogurt every day, but for the things that I've gone through myself, I've had I kept off taking insulin for diabetes for 14 years.
Oh wow.
By
That's great.
diet, by losing the weight and everything. In talking with the doctors that I've worked with, and in all honesty, if you're going to eat something, if you want yogurt, you eat the regular yogurt. Nothing with the phenylalines or the aspartame, because your body stores that and your body doesn't know what to do with it. And people are getting sick with that.
Anything you eat should be in whole form.
They even said if you're going to drink soda, which you know what, we really shouldn't drink it, but if you're going to drink the regular sugar soda, don't drink the diet. They said that is the worst thing
I would
for
never
you.
tell you that. To be honest with you, I would never tell you, because I'm going to be honest with you. If you're going to come to me and you have a goal, and you want me to be half your partner, you're not drinking something.
Well, no, you shouldn't be drinking it at all. But if you are going to,
It's got to be the full-fledged whatever it is.
yes, right.
Now we're going to go over. People say they crave something, and for different reasons. Some people get depressed. Okay, so when you get depressed, there's your hormone, the dopamine isn't working, but it wants to work. So it's looking for something to trigger that off. So right away, when people are depressed or their moods are low, they go to look for something with sugar, chocolate, and all that. I'm telling you to fight that. If you are depressed or you have that anxiety, if you eat that stuff, it's going to make it worse. So what do I suggest? Eat something with fat, walnuts, salmon, no. Avocado, very good fats. You can drink green tea. Green tea is not fat, of course. Green tea raises your serotonin level. It helps your immune system, and it's very healthy for you. Also, you want to raise your serotonin level? Move. Move your body. Exercise. That's the best way. The number one thing that they're telling people that are depressed and have anxiety is to start exercising. You could read any American medical journal, and that's what they say. There's no specific pill that's going to make you happy. Start exercising. Start moving your body. People that also can't sleep. When you can't sleep, that hormone that makes you hungry, listen to this guy. Your hunger hormone raises. I never hear anybody say, I can't sleep, so I'm going to get up and have a hard-boiled egg. But you know what? If you get up and have a hard-boiled egg, it's going to help you fall asleep. So what do you usually do? You get up. People say, well, I have a glass of chocolate milk, because all those Olympian people have chocolate milk. And you know what? If you're going to exercise like them, drink gallons of it. I don't think any of us are going to be exercising like them anytime soon. Chocolate milk is not going to do it. It's really not going to do it because it has sugar. Sugar is going to spike your insulin level up and drop it down. It's going to make you feel like crap. So some suggestions about sleeping. How about throwing your phone across the room? Or keeping it in the other room? How about taking your TV out? The only thing in that bedroom should be you, the bed, and someone else. That's it. No phone. No TV. Don't have a soft yellow light. No white light. Because you can't sleep like that. Also, people say, I'm off of carbs. I'm not eating carbs. Well, you know what your body does? I'm going to tell you what happened to me for 2 weeks. I'm training for something right now and I'm dying. So, there was some miscommunication between my coach and myself. I thought she said don't eat fats and carbs. You know what fats and carbs do for you? They're the energy source. I thought that's what she said. After the first week, I wanted to die. I couldn't function. I couldn't even think. People were talking to me and I was here, I couldn't hear. I couldn't physically get out of bed. And I'm a open my eyes, get out of bed person. By the 10th day, I called her. And I said, I think I'm dying. I really think I'm dying. I literally felt something was eating inside of me. She says, what are you doing? And I told her, it was wrong. She told me, eat something with carbs right away. Do you know, in like a couple of hours, I felt alive. I felt like I could run a marathon. So if you're not eating carbohydrates, you're not getting that energy. You're not getting that get up and go. Now, the good carbohydrates, what I'm talking about is brown rice, sweet potatoes, pumpkin, anything that's whole grain. By the way, does everybody think whole wheat is good for you? Oh, good. People have been reading. Whole wheat used to be good for you. In this country, it's no longer good for you because of the way we strip the seeds. There's 3 parts of the wheat seed, of wheat. The inside is the worst part. That's what they're baking your bread with now. They're ripping because it's cheaper. The sprouts are good. Whole grains are good. Whole wheat is not. Now, another good thing that you can have, which has sugar, is carrots. Carrots have a lot of sugar. But and it's not really the vegetable of choice. Dark green leafy vegetables are the vegetables of choice. But if you're going to have it sparingly. But that is one of the carbs that you can have. If you're not going to eat any carbs at all, you can have some carrots. Some people have iron deficiency. If you have iron deficiency, it zaps you of all your energies. When you're zapped of energy, you're looking for something to keep you going. Right away you go towards sugars or bad carbs. Instead of that, eat your spinach. First of all, go to the doctor. If you have any iron deficiency, you have to go to your doctor. You have to get your blood work done. You can eat spinach, red meat for those of you who are not vegetarians, lentils for those of you who are vegetarians, pumpkin seeds. Those are all good if you have iron deficiency. Now, also, if you have low protein, you're not going to build muscle. You get a choice in life. I love choices. You can either be built with muscle, bones, okay? Or you could be fat and bones. I'm going to give you an example. There was a time in my life that I used to run marathons. I used to run. That's all I did. I was 118 pounds, size 4. Then I did triathlons. I used to run, bike, and swim. If you used to call that swimming. I used to bike, run, and swim. I could only swim with a swimsuit, with a wetsuit on. I used to sing. Run, bike, and sing. I was 122 pounds, size 4. Then I started, and by the way, the only thing I used to do was eat a lot of carbs because it was energy. And you know what else I used to do? You ever see those packets of goo?
Yeah.
Goo is sugar syrup, and you do it while you're doing all these athletic sports, from swimming to biking to running, to give you energy, instant energy. You feel like crap at the end. You're having diarrhea. Looking for the first. That's why there's all those bathrooms at the end. Everybody's running to the bathroom. I'm now at this point 145. I still wear a size 4. I started bodybuilding. So what does that say? Muscle and fat. You get to choose which one you want to be. And it all depends on not what activity you're doing, it's what you're eating. If you're not going to eat protein, now you don't have to eat meat protein. You really don't. But you better be a good vegetarian. And if you're a client of mine, and I do have vegetarians, you have to be a good vegetarian. You have to know how to do it. You just can't eat carbs, because that's not a vegetarian. going to go over a couple of things. So I give you an example of what you should or shouldn't eat. Then at the end, I want to give everyone a gift and for coming here. Most of you like to eat oatmeal. This is not oatmeal. I know the Quaker guy is on here. This is not the Quaker guy. He's a bad guy. The Quaker oats. It's got to say oats, not oatmeal, because even though it says low sugar, I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to read this because right here it says sugars 4. Bullshit. Excuse my language. It's not. The first ingredient's whole grain rolled oats. Everybody's like, oh, that's great. Second ingredient, sugar. Third, natural and artificial flavor. Then it goes into gum, caramel coloring, sucrose, reduced iron, and I don't know what the hell all this other stuff is. It has more than 4 grams of sugar that it's stated. You can't have oatmeal in a packet. You want oatmeal? Get oats. It's supposed to look like oats. You can soak it, you can do whatever you want with it. If you want to have oatmeal, and I'm going to give you a little trick. If you want to slow down the spiking, even in good carbohydrates, have it with protein. Because it slows down the breaking down of the carbohydrates. Why? Because protein is heavier and it slows it down. It takes longer to break down protein. If you're just going to have a carbohydrate, it's going to spike your insulin level up and drop it down. Which, by the way, I'm going to give you another hint that I give all my clients. First thing for breakfast should never be a carbohydrate. Why? You just fasted for 6, 5, 8 hours when you slept. What do you think is going to happen when you have that bagel? I'm just going to have a bagel. It's going to spike it up and drop it down. So you have a bagel at 7, by 10 o'clock, you think you're hungry? Not even 8, by 8:30 you're hungry. So I always tell my clients, and I've always done this, no matter what diet I'm on, I always have protein and a fat. Because that will, a fat is the yolk of the egg. Or coconut oil making your egg whites. Okay, so garlic, right? I just finished reading that. How many people have sons and daughters doing sports?
That's the worst thing.
This is the worst thing, and you don't wish they stop. They have these athletes sponsoring this. This is the worst thing. Worst thing you can drink. Okay. Now, we have cereal. You know what I think they should eliminate? By the way, when you come shopping with me, we never go down the cereal aisle. This should be eliminated. Even Cheerios with protein. You think, oh, this is the Cheerios we're gonna get.
Is there a cereal
There's
that?
no.
No.
Cereal is all carbohydrates.
Okay.
This one has carbohydrates and protein. So you're thinking this is a good one. Okay. So let's take a
They
look.
said that's one of the worst ones.
This is one of the worst ones. This, if you want to look, it says sugars. Oh, at least they admit some kind. This has for a cup and a quarter has 41 grams of carbohydrates. 41 grams of carbohydrates. Who the hell wants this? It probably doesn't even taste good.
Probably the honey nuts
And it
probably
has
has less.
17 grams of sugar.
Or at least the same.
But you know what people saw? 11 grams of protein in milk.
Yeah.
Throw in the milk, you have more sugar. They see the protein. Oh, oats and honey. Honey is good. Honey is a good thing. And they go and buy this. And then this one, Honey Nut Cheerios. But you know what people see? It can help lower cholesterol. Must be good for you because it has a little heart and a little B. And it's whole grain oats. First ingredient. Do you see how they get you to buy this stuff? They go through this garbage. Fishies are garbage. Okay. We already know this is even cheap stuff, but we already know soda. When we leave here, nobody will ever drink soda again. There's no like, okay, I'll just drink it a little bit. How many people like gravy?
Gravy.
I can't eat anything without gravy on it, is what I hear. Really? Then don't eat it.
Especially Honey Nut Cheerios.
What about sauce? Do you know that sauce? So now you have that white pasta. And then you throw on sauce that has dried tomatoes, tomato juice. As soon as you see juice, it's sugar. Tomato puree. This has 11 grams of sugar per serving. That little thing that you're putting on your pasta per serving. Now, did I say you're never going to have everything? You think I'm never going to have sauce again in my life? Of course not. But you have to pick and choose, and it can't be on every day. I know kids that eat pasta every day with sauce because that's all they eat. That's all Johnny eats. Really? Try not feeding him for a couple of times. He'll eat something else. He really will. Stop raising millennials. Dressing. The only dressing that should be going on your salad is oil and vinegar. None of this. I'm seeing this. I'm seeing back there. Come here. We got Ed. Okay, so I mean, you're getting the point, right? All these nuts and nuts are good, but nuts are good fats. But did you know that nuts only used to come in shells? You know why? Because it used to have to take time to open it up. So by the time you opened up the fourth one, you were done. How did they get you to eat more nuts?
They shelled them.
Shell. Yeah. So now you're eating all these nuts, and now you're saying, fat nuts are so fattening. Yeah, because you're eating like a cow. Eat the portion control.
That's what I did, I portion control.
She did. She really did.
Thank you, Martha.
Okay. Now, two other things before we leave. Avocado, we all know, is a good fat.
That's all you get, Marissa. That's all you get.
So what are we going to do today? What are we going to do now? We
Clear
got
up
some
memory.
information. When do we start? Tomorrow. Start now. There is, anybody know who Wayne Dwyer is? He's a great motivational speaker. He passed away. But he does this speech, and he tells people, he gives out 5 index cards. And we don't have time to do this, but I'm going to see where you guys fit in. He gives 5 index cards, and he says, I want you all to write your whole life story on 5 index cards, your autobiography. There was a woman in his seminar, her name was Portia Nelson, and she decides to write this on the first index card, and I'm going to read it exactly what she wrote. First index cards, chapter 1 of my life. See where you fit in, which chapter. Chapter 1 of my life. I walk down the street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. I'm lost. I'm helpless. It's not my fault. It takes forever to get out. Chapter 2 of my life. I walk down that same street. There's that deep hole in that sidewalk. I pretend not to see it. I fall in again. I can't believe I'm in the same hole. It isn't my fault. It takes forever to get out of that hole. Chapter 3 of my life. I walk down that same street. There's that deep hole in that street. I see it. It's there. I still fall in. It's a habit. I've gotten into a habit. But my eyes are open this time, and I know where I am. It is my fault. I get out immediately. Chapter 4 of my life. I walk down that same street. There's that big hole. I walk around it. Chapter 5 of my life. I finally walk down another street. So what do we do today? Maybe this talk is the 5th chapter of your life. I'm going to give everyone today an opportunity to have a 30-minute complimentary consultation with me so we could sit down individually and you could let me know what your goals are. Let's see. Maybe you're already there. Maybe you're already there and I can give you some guiding points. If you're not and you're looking for any kind of help, I would love to help you. I've helped many people reach their goals, either dietary, exercise, even relationships, if that's the reason why you're not reaching your goals. I appreciate everybody coming. If you want to go on my website, it's called LivLife.life. I have some high protein snacks here with both my cards. If you need any chiropractic care, I'm a great chiropractor as well. You could always talk to Yasmin. I like to give give these out. I appreciate everybody coming, I hope it was informative.
Thank you.